All right, good morning. We're good, right, Rob? Okay. Just sorry for those out there listening through webcast. I wanted to make sure everything was running and going like it should. We haven't had one of these meetings in a while. And we don't have just a huge volume of information to communicate today, but I think probably one of the more important things is that we've got some shifting around within our staff that we want to make sure everybody's aware of, and just kind of give y'all an update on where we are with water rights permitting as we go into the new year. So I'm Kim Wilson, for anybody that's new watching, and I'm the Director of Water Availability. And I'm going to introduce my staff and probably talk a little bit about some of the shifting as I do that. So I'll hit the first two agenda items in that way, and then I'm going to pass it off to the rest of the staff. Robin Smith is here from Office of Legal Services. She's one of the attorneys that works on water rights and has for years and years. Kathy Alexander is our technical specialist, or one of them in the Office of Water, and probably all of you all know her very well. Ross Henderson is another technical specialist in the division. Jason Gudo is our team leader for resource and conservation. And so on his team, they're doing the environmental reviews for water right permits, as well as reviewing water conservation plans and drought contingency plans. And then the last person here at the table is Amy Sedemeyer, and a lot of you will know her. For years, Amy has been our section manager for the Water Master section, but effective December 1st, she moved over to be the section manager for our permitting section. So she's bringing all that experience that she had in the Water Master area over to permitting, and will be filling her spot in the new year. Lori, who was in Amy's spot before, has moved over to the Water Quality Planning Division. So for those of you who do standards and assessment, 303D listings, that sort of thing, Lori's over in that shop now. And then I have a couple of staff that are probably not here on camera. I might ask them to wave at me. The people in the audience will see them, or you're obviously welcome to come up. Susie Valentine, who for years has been supporting our compacts, the river compacts we have with neighboring states, is going to go work directly for the Rio Grande Compact. And so we've had Scott Van Winkle working with her for the past year, and so he's going to move into her spot and take that over. And Scott's here in the audience. And then we've got Chris Kozlowski, who is our team leader for the water rights permitting team, with us as well. So that's the staff that I have here. What I'm going to do is turn y'all over to Amy. Amy's going to kind of give y'all statistics on where we are with water rights permitting. We continue to push through reducing the number of pending applications we have. And have kind of gotten to a place, I'll preface what Amy's going to say with, we knocked out low-hanging fruit pretty quickly. A lot of our simple applications, we continue to move, especially those that are not in line behind something more complex. We're really, really digging in hard now to the more complex applications that require more advanced modeling. And so we're pushing through those right now, and that'll be our focus, I think, over the next year. Our ultimate goal, I think, is to have about 125 pending applications at any one time. And I'll let Amy tell you where we are right now.
Good morning. So at the end of fiscal year 2018, which was August 31st, we had 177 applications pending. Since the end of November 2018, we've dropped slightly to 171 total pending applications. In FY18, we received a total of 65 new applications, which is down from 2017. In 2017, we received 129. Currently, again, as of the end of November, we have 38 applications that are in administrative review. We declared 87 applications administratively complete in 2018, and currently we have 113 that were, hold on, sorry. Since our last meeting, we've had 133 declared admin complete. So 17 applications are considered contested right now, with 5 of them at SOA and 12 that we're preparing for agenda. Completed applications in FY18, we had 127 that were issued, denied, withdrawn, or returned. 99 of those were issued. And since the beginning of the fiscal year, which was September 1, we've completed 25 applications, 21 of those were issued. We do continue to work on our fast track pilot project. We currently have 63 pending fast track applications in-house, and a total of 229 fast track applications have been completed since the program was initiated. So that's all I have for this morning, unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, and we have Jason up next to talk about the water conservation 5-year submittals, which are just around the corner.
There we go. So, water conservation and drought contingency plans are required to be reviewed and submitted to the TCQ on 5-year cycles for certain entities. And our next cycle submittal period is going to be May 1st, 2019. Hopefully, if this affects you, you received a notice in the mail that sometime this summer informing you of the requirements and who is required to submit and review those water conservation plans and drought contingency plans. Basically, if you have a water right of 1,000 acre-feet or more for municipal, industrial, or any other non-irrigation uses, or a water right of 10,000 acre-feet or more for irrigation, you're required to review and submit a revised water conservation plan to us. And also an implementation report to us, as well as send a copy of that to the Water Development Board. For the implementation reports, we have an updated form on our website that you can fill out to complete that implementation report to send it to us. It's been revamped and there's some changes in there, so make sure you look at that if you're required to do so. For retail public water suppliers, you have to review your drought contingency plans, and any updates must be kept on file. If you're a water supplier with 3,300 or more connections, you have to submit that revised drought contingency plan to the TCQ, as well as look at and revise your water conservation plan to us and submit that also to the Water Development Board for review. Any wholesale public water suppliers or irrigation districts also must review their drought contingency plans and submit those to us for review. Once those plans are submitted to us, and we'll start taking those officially, was it January? I think we decided January 1 of 2019. But if you've sent that in previously, we still have those on file and we're holding those for review when we get the bulk of those plans in. My staff will review those plans to make sure they have all the required elements in them as required. If something is missing, then you'll receive notice from us, a request for information, asking for the missing information. If there is no information missing, then we will go ahead and continue with the review. And once that review is complete, you'll get a letter from us stating that that review is complete and that those plans are final. And that's all I have on those. If anybody has any questions, I'm here.
And I'll just add to what Jason talked about. We've worked over the last year to kind of get staff and some of the tools that we have for that 5-year submittal reviewed and updated as necessary. So Jason's staff will be available to answer questions if you've got those as you're going through putting those together, so don't hesitate to reach out. Some of the things are updated. We went through and took a hard look at what was there in statute, what was there in rule, and what our forms were looking for. So you will see some tweaks to those forms. But you know, be assured we did a thorough review of them. We've got those new forms and tools out there on the website, and then Jason's group is ready to go with reviewing those. So by all means, again, reach out if you've got any questions as you go through that process. I'm going to hand it off to Kathy now. We're always working on WAMs to some degree, but she's going to give you all an update on what exactly we're working on and where we're headed.
Good morning. As Kim said, we have a continual process over the years to update and refine the WAMs to handle more complex permits and permit applications. And over the last year or two, we've been reaching out to our modeling stakeholders to get inputs from our stakeholders on what kind of tools they would like to see incorporated into the WAM and into the RAP program. And so the WAM is the data set, RAP is the modeling engine. So this is focused on, not on the data sets, but on the modeling engine that runs those data sets. And so during 2018, we went through a process to revamp the manuals, to add some clarification and to help increase understanding, especially for newer users. We're working on in the process to update and refine the way that the model handles SB3, Senate Bill 3 environmental flow standards, and also changes to help model more complex permit applications. And so with the streamlining and refinement of SB3, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. There were some concerns about, when we first started this process, about the complexity of the model code to put those standards in the monthly models. And we've developed a process through coordination with our stakeholders and with Dr. Werbs from Texas A&M, who's the model developer, to come up with a way to get some daily values out of the daily WAMs and import those into the monthly models, which allows you to have a completely streamlined monthly model process. So where we are with that, we've done some updates to some of the daily WAMs, in particular the Brazos WAM, and the process for SB3 incorporation is posted on Dr. Werb's website. If you're not familiar with where that is, I can, if you contact me, I can provide a link to that. So that's out for review by our stakeholders and modelers, et cetera. Once we've finalized the Brazos, we're moving to the Trinity, and we're anticipating that should be ready for review in around March or April of 2019. And once we've gotten the review comments and finalized those two, we're going to proceed with the Colorado, Guadalupe, San Antonio, Neches, and Sabine, based on the lessons we've learned from the first two basins. We're also continuing to work this year on some additional refinements to better reflect water rights permits and new applications. And I just want to say we certainly appreciate all the comments and input that we've received to date. It's been extremely helpful. And finally, in the past, we've hosted model meetings called the RAP Users Groups, and we're looking for your thoughts on scheduling a RAP Users Group meeting to go over the more weedy technical details with the modelers in the future. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, please let me know. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Next, we've got Robin up to give us an update on commission actions.
Yes. Good morning. I'm going to start back in August. I may have missed a few things, but on August 22nd, we had an agenda, and then on September the 5th, we had two watermaster agendas. The one on August 22nd was the review of the watermaster that the agency is supposed to do every few years. And this was for the Trinity San Jacinto Coastal and Neches Trinity Coastal. That item was presented to the commissioners, and they took no action. The one on September the 5th was the watermaster budget for all areas, and those were approved. There was a hearing request on October the 31st for the San Jacinto River Authority, and this is their application for a bed and banks authorization on the West Fork of the San Jacinto River. The City of Houston's hearing request was granted at agenda, and the case was referred to SOA. There will be a preliminary hearing on that on January the 11th, 2019. And then last week, or a couple weeks ago, on December the 12th, the 291 rules, which was a utility rulemaking, but it was to send the utility rules basically to the PUC. And so the commissioners discussed that and heard that and did grant most of that. They did discuss one issue that affects water rights, and that was Section 11041 of the Texas Water Code. The question had come up as to whether or not the commission had the authority under that section to discuss the reasonableness of the rate. That what 11041 does is it gives people the right to claim that they have been denied water that they were entitled to, and that the rate that was requested, if there was one, was unreasonable. And we had, the executive record had taken the position that we couldn't look at that rate part, but the commission decided that 11041 did give us the authority to do that. One other thing is GBRA. This was several months ago. The hearing request was granted. This was the remove of a diversion point. The City of Victoria was given a hearing request. It's our understanding that that has settled, so we will be telling SOA soon that it looks like they need to send the case back to us.
Okay, thanks, Robin. I think I'm last to close things. I don't know that I have anything to add, except for to now bridge us over to questions. And I know we've got some folks in the audience that have questions, so come on up, Gwen.
I don't have a question. I just had a comment. I had an idea. I'm Gwen Webb for City of Houston. And one of the things I thought about was that we don't post on the website notices during the notice period. And I thought that perhaps as a way to tiptoe into the digital age, we might post all the notices that are outstanding and that are subject to comment on the website in a designated area. I thought this would be good for a number of reasons. One, if it proved effective, we could eliminate requirements for separate mailed notice. But secondly, it would also highlight the all the work that the water rights permitting and availability section was doing, and just keep people on track. And I know that mail being what it is, sometimes you'll get notice that is that's misdelivered or something like that. So I thought that would be something that you might want to consider in making the public more aware and just keeping everything that is available and subject to comment on the TCEQ website.
Okay, thank you, Gwen. Does anybody else have anything? Okay. I'm going to close the meeting. Rob is going to disconnect us from the webcast, but for those of y'all that are here, we'll be available for a little while to answer any questions. Thank you guys, and everybody have a happy holiday.